Coming up on Citrus TV News Live at 6.
SU's Hall of Languages is lighting up red tonight.
And peace talks are temporarily suspended in Syria.
And ice cream favorite Ben & Jerry's is getting a healthy twist.
All that and more. Citrus TV News starts right now.
From the Citrus TV studios, this is Citrus TV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
And thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Lane.
And I'm Jacob Reynolds. A former Syracuse sorority woman's YouTube video about Greek life has gone viral. Why all the attention? That's our top story tonight. An SU student is gaining huge national attention after making a YouTube video about why she dropped her sorority.
Alex Purdy, a senior here at Syracuse University, dropped out of her sorority because she felt they stressed negative values. In the video, she talks about one sorority sister wanting to give Hydroxycut, a weight loss supplement, to her little.
Since Purdy posted the video, it's been viewed more than 50,000 times and been featured on Cosmopolitan, The Washington Post, and Syracuse.com. And just this morning, Purdy appeared on the Today Show.
No one should be made to question their self-worth because they don't look a certain way. No one should be made to think that outer appearance and what other people think is more important than discovering who you are and what you can give. It's not about what we're born with on the outside. It's about what we do with what we've been given on the inside. I hope that the structure of sororities isn't broken across the country. It's built on such good intentions. I hope that my experience was an outlier and that the structure exists somewhere. There are so many bright minds in the Greek community, and they should be encouraged to speak up and reach their full potential. It's time to re-examine what it means to be a sorority.
Salt mining operations in Tompkins County are still halted nearly a month after an elevator got stuck 900 feet underground. Back in early January, 17 workers were rescued from an elevator in the mine just 40 miles southwest of Syracuse. They had been trapped for nearly 9 hours before a crew was able to bring them back up. Cargill Incorporated says work continues to fix the elevator.
The Hall of Languages will be lit up red today and tomorrow to honor the American Heart Association. Tonight marks the 13th anniversary of the Go Red for Women campaign, and tomorrow is National Wear Red Day, held annually on the first Friday of February. The SU bookstore will also be selling paper hearts, pins, and bracelets to support the AHA.
On Tuesday, Newhouse students and sports enthusiasts congregated in the I-3 Center to see a special guest speaker. Acclaimed sports broadcaster Tim Brando came to speak about his experiences in the industry, and Noah Wolf was there to hear it.
Tim Brando has had an illustrious career that has spanned across major television networks. He is most known for his work doing play-by-play on ESPN, CBS, Fox Sports 1, and Turner Sports. It clearly meant a lot for him to speak here.
I get as much out of the opportunity as hopefully the students do. It makes me feel young. It's like a breath of fresh air for me to be in the position of imparting any kind of knowledge that might be able to help young people.
Speaking events featuring premier sports journalists are nothing new to Newhouse students. In just this year alone, Dave Pash, Bob Ryan, Jason Benetti, and several others have all come to share their knowledge with students. Professor Matt Park believes that these speaking events are essential to the Newhouse education.
So Tim's somebody who's been around for 30 plus years in the industry, and for him to be available to share his time and talents with the kids, I think is a great, not only a great experience, but a great supplement to what's going on here academically.
Tim Brando spoke about his time doing play-by-play for the ACC and the Atlanta Braves. He also discussed his work for CBS, ESPN, and Fox Sports. Most importantly, he told his audience the decisions he made to get there. Everyone found Brando enthusiastic and engaging, and they appreciated his sports stories and broadcasting advice.
Just a really good experience just to be able to see and understand the business and just understand the type of things we're trying to get into.
Overall, the event had something for everybody, from engaging stories to
choice.
sports journalism advice for those seeking it. For Citrus TV, I'm Noah Wolf.
Coming up after the break, an update on the quick-spreading Zika virus.
And the Iowa caucus may be over, but the political debate continues tonight. We'll tell you who's facing off.
And an update on the WikiLeaks founder's case.
Citrus TV News will be right back before this short break.
Tuesday was Groundhog Day, and Puxatawny Phil predicted that we are in store for early spring. We've been experiencing that over the past few days. Sea temperatures have been 20 degrees above average over the past few days, but will the spring-like temperatures continue, or is a winter blast on the way? I'll let you know coming up after the break.
You're watching Citrus TV, so don't change the channel.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. You could have done a little better.
What? Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders will face off again tonight for their fifth political debate. This debate comes just days after the Iowa caucuses, where the two met numerous times. This will be the first time the two will debate head-to-head since former Maryland Governor Martin O'Malley dropped out of the race on Monday. Even though Clinton won Iowa, Sanders followed closely behind, making the Democratic race to the White House more competitive than initially anticipated. The debate will take place on MSNBC tonight at 9 p.m. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel announced that the Chicago Police Department will be getting close to 800 tasers. The decision comes after multiple high-profile cases of police shooting civilians like 17-year-old Laquan McDonald. All officers must go through training and certification before being eligible to use the stun guns. The department expects all officers responding to calls to have a taser with them by June 1st. Florida Governor Rick Scott has officially declared a state of emergency in 4 counties where people have been diagnosed with the Zika virus. 9 Florida residents have been diagnosed with the virus, but officials say all of the cases were contracted outside of the U.S. Governor Scott declared the state of emergency out of the concern of the virus that would start to be spread from mosquito to person within the state. Earlier in the week, the first case of the virus being sexually transmitted was reported in Texas. And the more official high school health teacher, the CDC, says sexually active women who do not use birth control shouldn't drink alcohol. This comes in an effort to cut down on the number of infants born with fetal alcohol syndrome. The report says that more than 3 million women risk harming their infants in the early stages of pregnancy. The CDC claims that drunk sex often leads to making some drunk baby making. Oh, to be young.
Peace talks in Syria have been temporarily suspended according to the UN. Syria has now been engaged in a civil war for the past 5 years. The peace talks were being held in Geneva between pro-Assad forces and moderate rebels. However, during the talks, pro-Assad forces launched an attack to try to recapture a key city. The talks are scheduled to resume at the end of the month. And while peace talks in Syria didn't go as well as hoped, world leaders are pledging more than $10 billion to help Syrian refugees. The money is meant to help fund schools, shelters, and jobs for refugees from Syria's 5-year civil war. British Prime Minister David Cameron and U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry both say that the situation is only getting worse and is a humanitarian crisis. And the body of a missing Italian graduate student has been found in Egypt. The body was dumped on the side of a road outside of the Egyptian capital and showed multiple signs of torture. The 28-year-old was first reported missing from Cairo January 25th. His death comes as human rights activists have been accusing police of being behind the disappearance of Egyptian activists and suspected Islamists. And now let's send it over to Brendan and Topher to find out what we can expect after the break. Topher?
And coming up next, I'll fill you in on the latest health, consumer, and entertainment news you may have missed.
And the snow-free February is practically unheard of in Syracuse, but is it unseasonably warm? Is it too unseasonably warm to stay here? I'll let you know after the break.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish!
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
So, I just moved in with his family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Watch Citrus TV Noticias at 3 p.m. every Sunday on the Orange Television Network.
So Brendan, it's my first February on campus without snow on the ground. Is the warm weather here to stay?
Jake, unfortunately, it doesn't look like the warm weather's here to stay quite yet. We're going to have to wait a little bit longer for that. Of course, winter does not officially end until April, but it's kind of weird looking across campus not seeing any snow on the quad. All you really see is a couple mounds here and there from the plows, and it was melting today. Outside currently it's 35 degrees and partly cloudy. The wind's coming out of the northwest at 8 miles per hour. There is a chance for some snow this evening. As we take a look at Doppler radar, you can see some snow moving off the Great Lakes, moving into our area. It won't be that much, however, an inch at most. However, I do want people to be careful tomorrow as the rain yesterday washed away any salt that was on the sidewalks, and they might be a little slippery. However, tonight, 25 degrees is our low. It's going to be mostly cloudy with a chance of a snow shower, but not much, and it's going to be pretty sporadic, so one part of campus might have more snow than another. So watch out for that this evening if you're heading out for the Thursday evening. And then tomorrow morning, Friday, if you're heading out to an early class around 9 a.m., it's going to be 28 degrees. Some lingering snow might still be in the area. The sun will be rising at 7:17 a.m., which will burn some of the clouds off and hopefully get rid of the snow and have a nice Friday going into our weekend. Taking a look at the bigger map, as you can see what to expect for the weekend, have a low pressure system behind a low pressure system down in Washington, a high pressure system up in Canada, and a cold front between them. That's what's causing this rain. Luckily, the high pressure is going to move in and wipe away any chance of precipitation we have this weekend. So not that bad once we get past tomorrow's snow. So taking a look at your 5-day forecasting, a high tomorrow 35 degrees, low of 25 overnight. Then Saturday and Sunday, both above freezing, as it's 43 on Saturday, 37 on Sunday. Chance of snow does not return again until Tuesday. 35 degrees on Tuesday, but pretty nice weekend coming up.
Alrighty, Brendan. Now, you talked about the snow coming back, maybe tonight, into tomorrow. Are we going to see that make a resurgence because it's been so warm, or is this like kind of a random snowstorm, then we'll go back to the warmer weather?
So it's not really random. We're going to move into temperatures, but nowhere near what we're normally at. I mean, our lows, we're looking at them, they're in the 20s. Normally we're down in the teens, so it's not going to be that polar vortex we're used to over the past few years.
Alrighty, and then obviously the big game, big story of the weekend, Sunday, the Super Bowl. I'm having a party. What should I tell my guests to wear on the walkover?
Tell them to wear pants, a light jacket with navy short sleeves. You can get away with just a jersey under there. It's going to be pretty nice. Luckily, no snow.
Alrighty, that's what we like to hear. Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you, Jake.
And now we turn to our ICYMI segment where we fill you in on all the entertainment, consumer, and health news you may have missed. Topher, what do you have for us?
Honda's recall for the airbag problems expanded to include 2.2 million new cars. The company says the Honda and Acura cars have Tanaka airbags that can explode. The glitch has caused about a dozen deaths and more than 100 injuries. Model years range from 2005 to 2016. This brings the total number of recalled cars to more than 8 million vehicles. The world's most popular digital storage site might not be as profitable as once valued. Dropbox, which was once valued at $10 billion, is now valued at only $2 billion. But the company does not seem too worried. Instead, an official release of the company's blog, CEO Drew Houston says the company is looking to diversify its staff. The company says they want their staff to reflect the various cultures of its users. Guess money really isn't everything when you have billions of it. A Pennsylvania judge has ruled Bill Cosby's sexual assault case will go forward. Cosby's lawyers argued the case should be thrown out due to an apparent deal made with the former DA back in 2005 not to prosecute Cosby. The current DA says that deal is no longer binding and Cosby will stand trial for sexual assault. For most of us, Facebook is the only way we keep track of our friends' birthdays, but today is a special birthday on the social media site. Facebook turned 12 today. To celebrate, the site featured Friends Day videos showing users a flipbook of old photos and memories. Perhaps a screening of the social network is in order to celebrate the company's big day. And you scream, I scream, we all scream for ice cream. Well, that is unless you can't have dairy, of course. But now, even dairy-free friends can enjoy America's favorite dessert. Ben & Jerry's company unveiled 4 new vegan flavors made with non-dairy almond milk. Now those who can't eat dairy can still enjoy the classics Chunky Monkey and Chocolate Fudge Brownie, as well as new flavors Peanut Butter and Cookie and Caramel Coffee Fudge. Now let's turn it over to Nick Dugan for your latest in sports. Nick?
Coming up, a Syracuse lacrosse legend receives a Hall of Fame honor, plus why a few SU football players are on their way out just 24 hours after National Signing Day. All that and more on the other side of the break.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words.
Playing world music.
What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Really?
Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple, just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
There have been only 4 coaches in SU men's lacrosse history, and as the current head man John Desko is readying his team for the upcoming season, the man who came before him is getting some national attention. Roy Simmons Jr., who both played and coached for the Orange, was inducted into the Intercollegiate Men's Lacrosse Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Simmons Jr. followed his father as Orange head coach and led the team to 16 straight Final Four appearances, and also became the first man ever to win 6 national championships. On to women's lacrosse, where the third-ranked Orange are just 10 days away from their opener against Loyola Maryland. Gary Gates' squad received some more high praise today after being selected to finish first in a competitive conference by the ACC coaches poll. The Orange received 5 first-place votes, while last year's runner-up North Carolina grabbed the remaining 3. Kayla Traynor, Haley Majorana, and Mallory Vihar also were voted to the preseason All-ACC team. Traynor and Majorana both produced 91 points for the Orange last season, while Vihar forced a career-high 27 turnovers. For Syracuse women's ice hockey, conference rival Mercyhurst has been a persistent roadblock. But with the first 3 wins against the Lakers in program history coming in the last 2 seasons, CitrusTV's Adam Unger takes a look at how the tides of the rivalry have turned.
There's a first time for everything. A first goal, a first assist. But for Syracuse women's ice hockey, in their first 7 years of CHA play, they only beat Mercyhurst once. This year alone, they've beaten them twice. What's the key? We asked Nicole Ferrara and head coach Paul Flanagan.
That's definitely big. I mean, this is my 5th year, obviously. The first couple years, we never beat them. So to get the 3rd win, it feels great, especially in overtime. It always feels better.
And I think that kids have got to have a little chip on their shoulder, have that little bit of an edge, to their game. And so, and I think that's the first time we've beaten them at their rink. To go into their rink and beat them in overtime, I mean, that's a real confidence booster. And we have to believe that we're better than them. And that the fact that they beat us on Friday and beat us on Saturday here a few weeks ago, that those were flukes. We shouldn't have lost those games. And as opposed to us just thinking, wow, we finally beat them, we should be upset that we lose to them. And I think that this group's got that message, and because who knows, if we meet them down the road, it's hard to say.
After their trip to Mercyhurst, the story of the standings stays the same. Syracuse is just 2 points behind Mercyhurst in the CHA standings. However, Penn State is right on their heels, only 2 points behind Syracuse, and that's where they're headed this coming weekend. From Tennessee Ice Pavilion, Adam Unger, CitrusTV.
2 Syracuse football defensive ends have been dismissed from the team more than 2 months after failing a second drug test. Amir Eli and Kadir Shepard were both in their first year at SU. Eli appeared in 7 games for the Orange as a special teamer, while Shepard tallied a tackle and an interception in 9 games last season. The dismissals leave SU with just 2 scholarships defensive ends from last season's roster. However, the Orange have picked up 3 defensive end recruits for the upcoming 2016 season. And coming off a historic year, SU men's soccer welcomed 2 newcomers to the squad via Twitter today. John Austin Ricks and Jake Leah will join an Orange team that had lost both midfielder Julian Boucher and forward Ben Polk to the 2016 Major League Soccer Super Draft. Boucher was granted second-team All-American honors and ranked 8th in the nation in assists with 11. Polk led the team with 28 points while also being selected to the All-South Region First Team in 2015. After a convincing 57-51 victory over the 16th-ranked Hurricanes of Miami on Monday, the Syracuse women's basketball team is back home in the Dome tonight to take on the Clemson Tigers. The Orange has snuck back into the top 25, currently ranked 23rd in the nation. The Orange will continue to look to guard Alexis Peterson after a team-high 16 last time around, with 10 of those coming in the final 10 minutes. The Tigers entered the evening with a 4-17 overall record, still searching for that elusive first win in ACC play. Tip-off between the 2 conference opponents is set for 7 o'clock.
So, Nick, anything big happen in sports today?
Big news in sports today after a 51-point performance from Steph Curry. He and his Golden State Warriors headed to the White House to meet President Barack Obama after winning the 2015 NBA championship. Pretty exciting stuff. I myself have never been to the White House, so I have to imagine that's probably pretty fun. No Riley Curry, though, I heard. So some disappointment there. We were hoping for the little one to show up.
And speaking of champions, what NFL team do you think will be visiting the White House after the Super Bowl on Sunday?
On Sunday, I think a lot of people would like to see Peyton Manning win in perhaps, as he's been calling it, his last rodeo. I think the Carolina Panthers offense, Cam Newton, just maybe too much in the end. I think the Panthers maybe squeak it out by a touchdown or so.
Alrighty, thank you, Nick.
After the break, find out what you should be wearing to class tomorrow.
And Citrus TV News will be right back.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice.
And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311.
How you doing? My name's Steve. My family's lived in this neighborhood for years. Recently, things got so tight, we had to go to our local food bank for help. I lost a lot of sleep worrying about what the neighbors might think. That is until I saw them there, too. How'd I do, Steve?
A little stiff. You could have done a little better.
What? Come on. You know, I have an Academy Award.
Yeah, but not for playing me.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
So, Brendan, what should we expect when we wake up tomorrow morning?
Well, tomorrow morning, the snow's going to still be hanging around. Hopefully, it's out of here by 9 or 10 a.m. Temperatures in the high 20s, so a hat and some gloves until the snow's gone. We're getting up into the upper 30s tomorrow, so it won't be that bad as the afternoon goes on.
And assuming tomorrow's snow gets out of here in a reasonable time, when can we expect the next coming Syracuse snowstorm?
So next we're tracking Monday in the evening, going into Tuesday, 3 inches at most. If the storm gets even worse, a little more energy into it, might be seeing 6 inches, but nothing close to what we saw a couple weeks ago.
Alrighty, I mean, I tell you, it's been nice not having the snow so much
It's
since
been really
we've been back.
nice.
I went out without a jacket the other day. It was crazy. I was walking out to take the trash out, and I just was able to go out in a t-shirt. It was fine.
Exactly. I've seen some people with shorts. That's unheard of in Syracuse in February.
All right, thanks,
thank
Brendan.
you.
Thank you.
And as you know, today is Throwback Thursday, and as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, it's Facebook's 12th birthday. Now, I've been on Facebook for some time, and boy, do I have some pics I'd rather not see resurface.
Well, unfortunately, Topher, our producer, decided it's also National Humiliation Day and found our oldest profile pictures. Let's bring them up, although I feel like I'm going to regret. There we go. That's Topher right there for you.
I think that was 9th grade when I first got. I was in the rebellious black and white phase.
Please explain what on earth you were thinking.
I'm not. I had study hall and I was bored and I was sitting there just enjoying the. It was my new computer. The webcam was great. I was trying stuff out. I have the like tile picture as well, but that's later in my Facebook history.
It's just incredible.
Well, let's go to yours.
Oh no.
Oh, that's great.
You know, I like the form on that double thumbs up though. You know, it's just incredible. I went to Harry Potter World, and I was super excited about it, and that was circa 2010, summer 2010.
It's a great picture.
I wish I could go back 5 years ago and tell them to not take that photo. And that's it for Citrus TV News Live at 6, but if you just can't get enough, make sure to follow us on Twitter at CitrusTV News and check us out online at citrustvnews.net. I'm Jacob Reynolds.
And I'm Topher Lane. Have a great night, Syracuse.